Our next question comes from Yoko Okada, who's an LCSW. I'm going to ask this of you both, and Pam, I'll start with you. Do you have any tips for going completely virtual? And I know there's a lot of ground that could be covered here, so in the interest of sort of keeping this narrowly focused, I'm thinking about that clinician who very rapidly had to make a change from maybe a completely in-person practice to a completely virtual practice. And so there's all the technical stuff, and then there's the legal and ethical stuff that Melissa, you alluded to a little bit earlier. I guess I'm thinking here about any other sort of practical mechanics that you would want to talk about in terms of, what it's like to not have an office lease. Anything in terms of your physical setup at home, and also the emotional part of that transition to a completely virtual practice. Anything that you would like to address in those areas?
Sure, there's something in all areas. I'm going to kind of work my way backwards. You can absolutely go completely virtual. I would make that decision really carefully, and I would make sure that you get good education and make sure that I recommend that you get certified even if it's not necessary in your state, so that you feel very comfortable with it. Our work in general can be very isolating. If you go completely virtual, it's that much more isolating. So emotionally, you need to really be ready for that and make sure that you have a support system in place, that you're getting together with people, that you're meeting with colleagues. I have a supervision group I meet with them every month, and you would need that even more when you're doing completely virtual. It can be very, very isolating. And it also means that your home is your office. So that means that you have to have a dedicated space that is always going to be private. If it's in your guest room and you have guests, you don't have an office. It needs to be a place that your kids, your pets, your partner is not going to be poking their head in the middle of session. So you really have to carve that out in your home. And you really have to be prepared for the gear shift of not seeing clients face to face. It absolutely can be done, but I would hate the thought of somebody shifting gears that fast because of an external situation. We all had to shift gears, and this is temporary, but don't make this the reason you go completely virtual. Offices are going to open. People are going to walk into your office. There's a lot of benefits to going completely virtual, but there's a lot of things you need to be prepared for too. So make this decision carefully, get certified, educate yourself, and really walk through it, because this is a big deal to move and to retain your clients and to be a good therapist. You can do it, absolutely, but you have to take extra good care of yourself and be extra planful.
That's a great point. Melissa, what do you think?
Yeah, so I have just a different kind of experience because my practice has always been virtual. So in this space, I've kind of, for people that are going completely virtual in this time, again, like it absolutely can be done. And I've seen many people comment and say, I've been thinking about going virtual, and this kind of just gave me the bump to do it. So I want to summarize it in a few ways. If going virtual happened because of COVID, I want you to first assess your current experience. So a lot of people were kind of pushed into making very quick decisions, and I'm constantly hearing feedback about not liking the platforms or feeling like there were things that were missing or not having the full experience of being able to like share your screen or things like that with your clients. So I would definitely say first assess your current experience to kind of just see, where am I right now and how am I doing? Again, like what Pam was saying, right? Has my space been private at home? Has it been, very disruptive? Because we absolutely owe our clients that privacy and confidentiality, even if we're working from home. From there, it allows us to identify the practice needs for yourself. And that really is also linked to just you as a particular practitioner. What are the things that you like to do and use most, that you did like to use with clients in office, and how can you make that experience seamless online, right? And of course, there's going to be some changes, but how can you make it as close as possible? Then another thing, for going completely virtual, for people that do have very high insurance dependent practices, there is a huge just concern on, will certain insurance companies that didn't previously accept insurance accept it post COVID, we don't know, right? So we want to think about your fee structure and your marketing strategy as well, because it's absolutely different marketing an online practice than it is marketing a practice that actually is brick and mortar in a community. And then again, plan for your long-term care. So the extended exposure to the lights on your computer, being pretty, sedentary throughout the day, being at home, the isolation that Pam was talking about, right? You want to make sure that your care so that you can have longevity in your career is also something that you're thinking of. So assess your current experience, what's good, what's not, identify your practice needs, determine your free structure and and develop your marketing strategy that's going to be very shifted for an online practice, and then plan for your long-term care.
That's actually a pretty nice segue into the next question, which comes from Lindsay Chen in LCSW.